Welcome, everybody, to another episode of American Grit with myself, Tim Jensen. We are broadcasting from the Gold Corp Influencer Center of Excellence this week. We've got a very special guest for you. I think you're really going to enjoy the conversation that we're going to be having today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you my friend. He's sometimes called the sector commander of Gold Corp, but he's a Sergeant Major retired, Kenneth Ramos. You know him from WTF Moments. He's been a face in this community for many, many years, a 30-year veteran in the PSYOP community, and an incredible American that continues to drive his platform and his voice towards the things that are important in our community. And we're doing it in a very special way. We've partnered on some interesting things over the years. We've tussled some horns together, and we've tackled some politicians together. So we've done some interesting work over the years, and I'm truly, truly excited to share with you guys today just a great conversation with one of the old heads of this community. Welcome to the show, Ken. How you doing?
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. I can't wait to do this. This is fun.
Well, I want to say thank you for inviting us to the Gold Core Influencer Center of Excellence.
Sorry, I didn't clean up. The influencer wing, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Could you tell us a little bit about, tell us about Gold Corp.
Oh, my gosh.
What is it?
Okay. All right. Okay. It's been driving everybody nuts about what Gold Corp is about. The thing was that there was a failed attempt in some South American country where some former special forces guys decided to go and try to conduct a coup. They were called Silver Corp. And what was funny is that
was a legitimate business.
It was a legitimate Silver Corp PMC, right? Private military contractor. And so the joke among the soft community was, and this was coined by a special forces soldier, and he said, "Hey, if they were Gold Corp, they would have been able to pull it off." Well, the name took off. It took off. It was pretty funny. It was Gold Corp, because you're not the gold standard, you're the silver standard. And so the name kind of kicked off, and then it really reached its, I guess you would say, its peak. It's I don't know what you want to call it, his notoriety, or maybe a notorious reputation.
Infamous.
Infamous, exactly. Sorry, English is my second language. Get over it. So if I stumble in several languages, it's that's why. It became almost a very polarizing topic when it came to January 6th, when it came to what they really do, and what it almost turned, and just by traffic and friction and static of everybody involved, good or bad, it turned into this anomalous monster of wow, I can't believe somebody made something out of a meme to include several, I don't want to say notable, I don't know if they are not notable or not, but several high profile media outlets said, "Hey, this is
Gold Corp thing.
Gold Corp. What's going on with Gold Corp? This is a seditious company that they're trying to do this." Dude, it just started off as a meme, man, and it exploded. So.
Yeah. Some of the things that I look, I was following that whole thing as it was going on, and I was just fucking laughing hysterically. Hysterically. I mean, to even see some of the reporters that were coming in and nosing around and making a bigger situation out of a joke, right?
Right.
And the joke is not understanding the community of the military veteran and the humor that we have, right? Which is demonstrably demonstrated in this whole fucking Gold Corp thing. It's hilarious.
It exploded to the point to once somebody from the media picked it up and reporters started picking it up. Yeah. Then it grew and grew, and then the nosiness of what somebody did. According to reports, I have been part of the influence campaign for it. I've been the biggest
sector commander.
The sector commander, yeah, I was sector commander. I was the whole. And what started off is that there were some stickers, and if you know Terry Shepard, there were some stickers of him that were reportedly posted on several members of Congress, and it was teamwork makes the dream work, and it's him in his skivvies. Well, not skivvies. He's out there fishing and stuff like that. Somebody photoshopped it and put it, Gold Corp above it, and he's holding it like that, And so that's fueled it even more. At that point, it's like then it became almost very conspiracy theory, reverse QAnon. I don't know what you want to call it, to where it became what were those stickers doing there? why did we have those stickers there? Who's conducting a recon?
Right. Who printed these things?
Who are these guys? Now, throughout this whole Gold Corp drama, not one person. Now, I'm not saying that people have not been spoken to. I'm not saying that people have not been interviewed or they get Fed checked or whatever.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is that there have been no Gold Corp indictments. There have been no Gold Corp. Nobody sat in front of fucking Congress, and I'm waiting for the day for me to be in my sport jacket with my Gold Corp T-shirt saying, "Well, yes, what were you doing this day? I was shit posting when this shit was happening
From my toilet.
From my toilet, from my couch." Everyone was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Immediately, everyone's like, "You need to report this. You need to report this. You need to do this." No, I'm not saying at all. January 6th was fucking a good thing, or it was it's something an American. I don't want to say it was a piece of American history that everyone should be proud of, but I'm saying that. We weren't there.
Yeah.
If anything else, the meme was around surrounding that January 6th, surrounding that, and it was literally people putting stuff together that really wasn't there. I mean, the way they use technology today for finding you, as much as people like to deny it, or people say, "Well, I'm not on the grid," you're always on the grid.
Right.
You're always going to be on the grid, and so there are instances where people got picked up for being around January 6th because their fucking phone got pinged.
Right.
They were in the area. They were able to track it. Of course, using a very shitty social media platform. I think it was Parler. And it was the most, I mean, if you wanted to order a unsecured social media platform on Wish, that was Parler. Because it gave away everybody's position. It literally gave everybody's position away. And it pinged a ton. So everybody who said they were there and weren't there or whatever, it didn't matter because the feds were able to verify through geolocation and phone and flight records and stuff like that. And then everyone's like, well, wait a minute, the government's watching you flying somewhere. And I'm thinking, well, how do you think you get tracked? You get tracked no matter
Out
what.
of my Gold Corp jet.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a new stealth technology with you don't have to get with Learjet. Anyways, but yeah, it exploded so bad to the point to where now people's lives were affected, and their lives were affected to, I don't want to say in a good or bad way, but it's hard for you to get a job or imagine applying for a gig when and employers these days, they do a little bit of risk management for some of their, because they got a brand or whatever, and they'll say, wait a minute, didn't I just see on social media you were a part of this thing here, and we don't know if we're gonna. I like your resume. We're not gonna hire you now because you're part of this thing. So. And there was some within the organizations. There were some DOD-IG complaints that were made. There were some 15 Army investigations to some of the service members that were being accused of being there. Yeah. And it became one of those, okay, the joke was funny in the beginning. Now it's getting tiresome to where you're part of Gold Corp. Yeah. What were you at January 6th? Oh my God, here we go again. And stop. That's not what. That's not. Like I said, I've seen nobody in cuffs. I've seen no Gold Corp indictments.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's a beautiful place. I truly enjoy it. So, you speak from a position of authority when it comes to some of the things that are happening on social media. For 30 years, that was your background. I was working within this type of environment of I'm not saying like this idea. Well, what I'm saying is. You've been part of this community for a long time in the psychological operations, right? And part of that has been in the how social media is being used as a tool and a weapon these days.
Correct.
To modify or influence people into decisions, that are driving some of the things that are happening in this country right now.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's influencing. It's not. I know a lot of people like to think that we have some sort of. Back at Fort Bragg, well now Fort Liberty, that we have some sort of mind control weapens, and we have
MK Ultra.
We have Professor X. He's one of the main instructors of back at at SWIC. Just to real quick is I spent 10 years in Big Army as an aviation guy before I went PSYOP, and I spent 18 years, but. Around that, filmmaking, multimedia stuff was kind of like my side hobby, and it wasn't until I got into PSYOP that. And the evolution of social media, because social media just broke literally, I mean, not looking on websites, but social media itself started breaking around 2006, 2007. Right. And it really was kind of like fertile territory for our adversaries to use. And they ran with it. They immediately ran with it. So from 2001 until just recently since I retired 2018, almost 20 years, I was able to flex and I was able to work in certain positions within the PSYOP community, within SOCOM and USASOC, and deployed to able to, I guess you could say, they gave me the latitude, or the organizations that I was part of gave us latitude to work that social media, what we call SMEX, social media exploitation. And it sounds like exactly what it sounds like. You're exploiting the vulnerabilities and susceptibilities and capabilities of whatever social media platform audiences are, and we're playing on that. Yeah. And it sucks because a lot of individuals think of PSYOP as it's bad. Well, really, when you look at something as simple as like marketing, if you're looking at something as like, for example, Coke, Pepsi, whatever. There's even some spoofs of different marketing campaigns that you'll see, product placement. Yeah. And I know for a fact that when I was younger, I wanted to drink a Pepsi because I expected to pull up to a gas station and see Cindy Crawford leaning up against a freaking soda machine. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to drink that. That was something tangible. That was something that you were able to drink some Pepsi. Maybe I should have made that movement. But anyways, But you expected, okay, that you were going to buy it, that marketed towards you. Or with like Nike, I want to be like Mike. I want to be like Michael Jordan. Well, that's, in a way, that's. I don't want to say it's PSYOP because I don't like it when people say everything's a PSYOP.
Right.
Everything's a PSYOP. Everything. Oh my God, we're sitting right here right now. Is it a PSYOP?
Is this real?
Is this real? Ken Ramos, Tim Jensen sit with WTF shirts that just. Coincidentally, during this podcast, is this a PSYOP? We're going to get you to do that. I don't want to sound like the tinfoils out there going, oh my God, they're doing PSYOP.
I think, Ken, well, I think we should, ask your good friend that you brought with you to the show.
Yeah, Ghosty has a lot to say about it usually because since the release of Ghost in the Machine and Ghost in the Machine 2, Ghosty's been in the spotlight a lot.
He's making quite a name.
He's making quite the moves, specifically with the Cab Calloway character dancing. And I'm telling you what, from when Ghost in the Machine first came out, it sparked the most. It exploded. It exploded. I know the individuals that did it, that did that product and the second one. And I, as a PSYOP guy, understand what the meanings of. It's almost like you get what you're meaning out of it. So if you got an experience like, whoa, I want to do that, or you got an experience like, wow, that's something to think about. Or you got an experience of, oh my God, there's this QAnon. Oh my God, they're gonna come get us. Oh my God, what is happening? See you at selection. What kind of selection are we talking about? What are we doing? Well, so who's selecting who? And that's what you have to join. You have to go GoArmySoft.com, right? I always say that if you're having a bad time. When I'm broadcasting on WTF Nation Radio, and I'm like, if Big Army's not for you, GoArmySoft.com. And you'll get a different experience. But Ghosty's been in the scene now, and he's been getting a lot of shit because it's like, dude, sorry, bro. It's you are who you are, and no hate on the Ghost in the Machine, but
you gotta embrace it now.
You gotta embrace it.
You're in the spotlight.
I'll get you a GoCorp T-shirt. But but the thing is that whole. I'm glad that the PSYOP regiment has now come out.
Yeah.
Because before it was always misinterpreted by whoever or whatever on what PSYOP does. Somebody will grab something that a PSYOPer will have written long time ago and immediately think that that's happening now. Just like how you get 5G warfare, 5GW. You start talking about that. Well, that was a practice that was coined in 2003. That was something that I get it. You want to grab different types of doctrine for influencing, but it's really hard to pinpoint it unless you're there. Unless you're at Fort Liberty going through assessment and selection. Unless you're at Fort Liberty, training, equipping and deploying with those guys. You really don't know exactly what you're doing. It's like you got to be there. You got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you think they walked into making the second one with the understanding that people are totally grabbing onto this with like?
Yeah, it's almost like okay, you poke the hornet's nest. Correct me if I'm wrong. You poke the hornet's nest one time, and now there's a little bit of I'm kind of digging the reaction here, and then you start slapping the hornet's nest with Ghost of the Army, Ghost of the Machine 2, Ghost of the Army, Ghost of the Machine 2. So hey, I'll be honest with you, it's effective. It's
Yeah.
got people talking.
Yeah,
It's got everybody.
It's making people think, right? And but we are living in this time right now where because of the devices that we have in front of us, and it's serving us so much stuff, right? You're talking about the marketing aspect of what psyops really was to be distilled down to, and we think about how, like, in our business, how we drive advertising, right? And how the algorithms inside of those devices were the real ghosts in the machine, right? How they pick up on you as a demographic and start serving you the things that that the machine thinks that you're going to enjoy.
Right. It's your little spirit guide.
Right, exactly, right? This little crazy algorithm that is looking at ones and zeros.
Exactly. What are you up to, man?
Right. And so like and we're making it at a simple transaction element, right? For like, I'm serving you ads to make, to give you an experience of wanting to buy the shirt, right? But, when we talk into the bigger aspects of cultural influencing, we're living in a time right now of, Marxism is making a wonderful return back into American front and center, right? Center stage.
Right.
We're seeing that, and we're seeing the influences it's having on the young people in the country. And all these different aspects of life that are happening, all because that device is being weaponized, and it's a much faster main vein of information of however you want to project it.
You could have you have a device in your hand that carries so much information of the world, and there will be people that are still stupid.
Yeah,
there will be people that will still not. Legit, I will go, does Google here? What does this mean? I'll see something in the news. What the hell does that word mean? Or what
It's walking encyclopedia.
It is. The weaponization of that. There are people who there are some nefarious characters on the return of Marxism. Marxism in America will never work. Yeah. Period. Our Constitution cannot facilitate that. To the point to where the Marxists are using, and I'll say this, they're weaponizing the Constitution to be allowed to spread this information. And what's funny is that a lot of individuals will say a specific key figure in our politics, name your party, is weaponizing this. His words matter. His words hurt people. His words this, but have no problem supporting or being silent on how Marxist ideals are being spread.
Right.
And that right there, it's frustrating because I hold the Constitution dear. I mean, I'm a first generation American. My family came from Mexico, and to me, the beacon for freedom, the beacon of what I wanted to be like, or what I thought every American citizen should be. You respect the flag. You respect the Constitution. You understand the Constitution. You understand civics. You understand how the government works. Well, there are nefarious characters that know how the government works, that know what they can and can't say. Would just be right on the edge of not being completely criminal, but say, "Oh no, I was just exercising my free speech."
Yeah, spit in the face of justice.
Yeah, exactly that. They're using the Constitution for their own nefarious activities, and it's the Constitution. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment. I mean, those are the two. I think one of the key pillars of it. Separation of church and state. They're now using subtle messaging to what I think to convert to creating almost on both sides, almost creating a church like or a I don't want to say what do you want to call that?
It's statism to a degree, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's no God, there's only government.
There's only government, but you have to there along the sides of it. There is a God, or is Buddha, is Allah, is whatever. Whatever, Jesus, whatever we want to add to it. And that's the thing about the community that I worked is the PSYOP community. We're very central. There's not too many. I've worked with atheists in the regiment. I've worked with born again Christians in the regiment, and they've been professional. Not to put that in some of the stuff. We will say that there's some of the tenets of a religion, like the golden rule, where it comes from, then that's how you should treat your fellow man. We don't really say, well, because Jesus said that, or Allah said that, or Buddha said this, or that's just the way it is. Or maybe you should. We try really hard to not use. Now, in the darker realm of PSYOP, there will be like, hey, if you're really true participant in that religion, name your religion, you wouldn't be acting like that. So why are you acting like that?
Right.
And so that push to, like you said, the Marxists right now, we have kids right now that have just we're praying. They're praying to giving themselves to Islam. I'm not saying you shouldn't give yourself to Islam, but I don't think these kids understand where this is going to go for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you've joined a religion, you're expected to be participating in that religious practice, whatever practices they have.
Yeah.
I'm not belittling any religion at all. What I'm saying is that if you're going to give yourself to a religion, specifically when it comes to Sharia, like when you hear about Queers for Palestine, or when you hear about you're adding something that our values, or our, I don't want to say our values because not everybody's to that, but basically we're more respectful to those values than you.
Well, the Constitution creates space for those to exist.
There you go. Exactly.
Right? And I think that's probably the best way of thinking about it.
Exactly. It's almost like a gray area for you to decide what you want to be for, what was that? The pursuit of happiness.
Right.
And the end part right there, the pursuit of happiness. And I'm not a constitutional scholar. All I know is that, hey, look, being in the center of a lot of things, you start seeing, okay, like you just said, they're using Marxism in these university riots and protests. And when it first started off as against genocide, when it first started off against fighting against the oppression of the Palestinian people, that was the first. That's how it started.
Right.
And now you're seeing death to America. Now you're seeing. I read the Newsline today. Now they're some of the protesters are calling for beheadings. Now you're seeing kids that you would never expect convert to Islam, and I don't want to bring back the global war on terrorism scare again.
Right.
But there's a lot of scholars during the global war on terror that talked about radicalization that are now fucking silent. They're not saying anything. Yeah. They're quiet. Well, what do we do now? Well, how do we do this? What are they using? Well, like you said, social media on it, and TikTok has I don't want to beat that. Well, TikTok needs a blah blah blah. It's only on how much you use it. Yeah. It's not necessarily. I'm not saying that China is not taking advantages. They are taking advantage of how TikTok is being used. I still am from the old. They're still our quasi adversary right now. They're not. It's because it's hard to say that China is a true adversary when we're looking at your smartphone and it's made in China.
Yeah, and they own trillions of dollars of our debt.
And that too. Our economy is so intertwined. That's why I'm more to see something happening with Russia than I do see us getting involved with something in China, because at least with China, they understand. Well,
I agree to that. This is the situation, right? And in the larger sense, is like there's so many hotspots in the world right now that who knows what's going to happen, right? Because they're all tipping on this idea of I think we're closer now, and the clock says so, right? The atomic clock.
Oh yeah, the doomsday clock. Yeah.
That we're closer to nuclear annihilation now than any point in human history. And that's a relatively short period of time understanding the technology of it, of the shit. But it's like you got the situation happening in Russia and Ukraine, where that's just being, it's a meltdown of money and resources and human life. Mm-hmm. Same thing happening in Palestine and Israel. You've got China on the verge of wanting to take back Taiwan,
correct,
and bring it back to the mainland, and you got the American government that's too spineless to stand up and say, hey, maybe this one China idea is not something we should be supporting, and think of some of the broader aspects of a nation that's trying to represent American ideals, kind of like what America did to Hong Kong when we turned our back on those guys.
Exactly.
Right? And now we're in this phase of American history where the United States is turning its back on a lot of its allies. Right, we're walking out of Afghanistan the way that we did.
That was a disaster.
We're leaving. We've got hundreds of troops down on the ground in Niger that the American government's not bringing back right now. One of those people I just happen to know. It's incredible to me, like what is going on in the world today. And it seems like everywhere you look, things are just burning down.
Now, the thing is with in my time in Africa, I witnessed open eyes to include my team. We saw China involvement. We saw
Belt and Road Initiative.
Building roads, it's the way, and it's also the way we do our how do I say this? How we help countries. We don't really help countries in that aspect the way China does it. Now, I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying that the way they do it is different. We say, hey, we're here to help you out. We're here to build your infrastructure. We're do this, and here's some money to help you do this. And they're like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And that's it. China says, hey, we're here to help you. We're going to build your roads, but we're also going to send some supervisors down there so that way we can grab some of your guys to help us build this highway.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is, perfectly graded for a tank. But I'm just saying,
right.
just,
and we're gonna loan you a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna call the debt and then loan your government.
And exactly that. Well, this is the way it works. Oh, well, there's no other way to pay it back other than make us part of your parliament.
Yeah.
Or allow us to open more trade.
Yeah.
It was really frustrating to see because you would see some Chinese workers, and you would see some. I was in Ethiopia, and you would see some Ethiopian workers, and they were working, and you could see that the guy, the individual, he was Chinese.
Yeah.
Because there was only the only people that you saw in that area that were not African were me and my team and some other Chinese individuals, and this was just driving down the road. This is just driving around and seeing a construction project. And the name of the construction company is an old company. I don't know if it's still around. It's called Norila. And it was a huge conglomerate and they did their messaging. You would drive by the highway and you would see, wow, that's a billboard. And it's a picture, and almost like the old communist posters of a Chinese guy with his arm embracing an Ethiopian, going, look at this highway we could build together.
Yes.
And I love
the old Mao marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the very high prominent painting, everyone's chin up, everyone's 8 feet tall, everyone's looking, and the person is lower than the other, like that. I'm not a very tall person myself, but still, I'm like, wait a minute, look at, and I told the guys, I go, look at the placement of how the Chinese present themselves as, look, we're helping you out, and this is us, and you little Ethiopian, look at this, and that's the thing, is that Ethiopians are not like what we think. We are the world, we are the children with USA Africa and everyone, all these, they're not. In some areas, of course, during that famine, there were individuals, there was villages and outlying areas that did look like that. But in Addis Ababa, you're seeing some healthy. You're seeing. It's almost. I don't want to say normal because everyone we're going to get beat up what normal is.
But there's commerce. There's all sorts of developing things.
Yeah. So you see healthy looking individual. You don't see what you don't see a kid with a vulture sitting next to him.
Yeah.
It's not all like that at all in Ethiopia. So it presented a very good. When I got there, my eyes were really open. I'm like, wow, the Ethiopians are beautiful people. Oh man, this is. They got great music. They got they're beautiful people. Their language is really hard to understand, but you can get some Harik they speak there, and you saw it. You're like, wow, guys, look at that poster, and then trying to make you feel like, hey, we're here to help you.
Yeah.
We're here to help you. And I don't want to say it because I know Ghosty gets pissed off. We're here to help with hearts and minds, and you know what I mean. And it's
right.
I hate that term anyways. We're gonna win hearts and minds. That's how we do it. And we gotta get to these guys and all that. When literally we have a lot of commonalities across the globe as Americans.
Oh, sure.
Then
just in human
human
experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to say that there were some decisions that I made when I was there that were because I did include the human factor, but there were some that I were like, wow, I can't believe we're really going to do this. Or are we going to do that? It wasn't bad. It was just something that, I was once told by a special forces guy. This was during the invasion of Iraq. And we saw kids injured. And to me, it's it hurts my heart when I see a toddler or someone who's as old as my kids.
Yeah.
And he told me something. He's like, hey brother, you can't save them all.
Yeah.
You can't. You can help what you can, but you can't save them all. We got to continue the fight. We got to continue the mission. And that was
That's a hard line, man. That's not our job, right?
Right. One comment that was made to me was another guy who was, I won't say he was callous about it, but he was more hardened about it. And he would say, hey, we're not the Peace Corps. You wanted to do that shit. You wanted to give them some Band-Aids. Well, hey, wait, you're PSYOP. Give them a soccer ball. They'll be all right. We don't do that. Because that's another connotation that we get too about the PSYOP regiment. Is that, what? Hey, kid, ain't got no water, ain't got no food, here's a soccer ball. Civil affairs guys, come over here and back it up. And then the next here you go, and we'll dig you a well.
I've been on plenty of those missions.
Exactly. So you're like, oh, God, it's frustrating. I do, I do like the fact that they do understand, just like how, before Russia kicked off, before Russia invaded Ukraine, way back, I would say in the early 2000s, we did what was called Partnership for Peace in Europe. We did, I don't want to say joint, but we kind of hung out with them. We kind of talked to them. We kind of talked, and there were some commonalities with just being a Russian Joe and an American Joe. They did. I mean, they some of the stuff that they talked about was some of the stuff that we talked about. We got shitty barracks. Oh, really? We got shitty barracks too.
Right. Oh, yes, my comrades, they died from all the nuclear exposure.
Exactly. In the Russia, most mold grows you. So yeah, it's funny. It's because there are some commonalities with different. But to go back to the Marxism stuff. The reason why it's alarming to us is, like you said, it happened so fast, and I feel that there are some bad actors out there on both sides.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That are saying that, well, freedom of speech, and then where do we stop it on there? I'm not talking about censoring people. I'm not talking about whatever, but because once you get on that track, especially because if you're a retired grunt. And you apply for a gig or you say something, you're a retired grunt in your service. If you're a retired artillerist, I say this because now women are in artillery.
Right.
If you're an artillery, you're a retired artillery, and you bring an opinion or a pine, then that's understandable. But when you're a retired PSYOP guy and you say, well, the thing is, whoa, Gold Corp is coming back. Gold Corp's coming back. And I'm like, no, dude. I'm like literally giving you an opinion from my experience that I've had. I got like almost 20 years. I've got almost 30 years of multimedia experience. Right. I kind of, film, and I've done social media stuff. It's not some of the stuff that you have told me and Tim in conversations. We've said in PSYOP circles. It's not like all of a sudden I walked over to you and went, whoa, and then, there he goes again.
You Jedi mind tricked me.
Exactly, right, exactly. So, but yeah, it's funny. It's because I can say something about it and immediately I'm scrutinized.
Yeah.
Immediately, well, he's a retired PSYOP guy. He wears the Ghost emblem, the Ghost from the Ghost Army. And the Ghost Army is a World War II military deception that used PSYOP tactics and techniques, procedures that we still use today, but it was during World War II, of course. And I have on my, I've always had it. I've always had the Ghost Army's emblem on all my social media stuff. When I was how do I say this? When I was anonymous, when I was undercover, when I first started out as being an admin for U.S. Army WTF Moments, I used that as my profile pic on everything.
Yeah.
On my Twitter, on my Instagram, even my Instagram now is real. It's no longer anon. And as soon as somebody sees that emblem, they freak out. They were like, oh, why are you saying this? Why are you? But if I see a logistics person talk about influence, oh, yeah, that's a very good idea.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
This guy gets it. What does this guy gets it mean?
This guy is gold core material.
Exactly. See you at selection. Welcome to Gold Corp, where you too can influence. See you at selection. But that's what that to me is. I mean, I'm from the West Coast, so that's what trips me out. I like to say that. That's what trips me out.
Do you think it's like this romantic belief or conception or perception that they're making when it comes to when people are scrutinizing PSYOPs in general?
We have different authorities that normally that other conventional organizations do not have to influence, to use. Your average PSYOP soldier should already know the media outline. Well, if the newer kids coming in, yes, they're going to know the media space.
Yeah.
I don't like saying battle space because then it's just there. It's just you're operating in an environment. So the media environment has evolved, and the kids have picked up on it. The kids are good at it. Mm-hmm. It's just we still have some of the old timers that are kind of like we've been restricted. Well, you can't do that, because then you'll go to jail. You can't do that. I've never seen a PSYOPer go to jail. I've never seen a PSYOP. I've seen some PSYOP fuck-ups, don't get me wrong. I've seen some messaging blunders, what we call I.O., Information Operation Fratricide.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished, yeah. That should have been, that right there, whoever, and like to go back to what you were saying is that if once you look at the processes and once you see the analysis that we do, there might be some scrutiny in how the analysis works because we're playing to a target audience of vulnerability. We're playing to a target audience accessibility to get that information, susceptibility to believe, to be influenced, and so there is going to be, hey, look, if you want water, if you want food, then maybe you should go over here. Maybe we should help you with your plants. I mean, there's some things like that that are kind of like dry and mundane for some of the topics, but like instead of the Colombian mission, as a matter of fact, hey, if we want you to stop growing coca, well then here's some additional plants we can show you how to grow or whatever. And these individuals like, yeah, we know we could grow that. Mm-hmm. We know we can grow that, but
we want the guns.
Not only do we want the guns, but we want that $350,000 paycheck every couple weeks for kicking this. And you are the intake. You Americans are the ones that want to take this shit. So that's not a us problem. That's a you problem. So, anyways, what corn were you talking about? We don't want this freaking corn. So that right there is the. There's a lot of processes involved. It's evolved. There are processes that are done in the. I would say I don't like saying this because then of course I'm going to get the freaking tinfoil guys out. Yeah. Oh my God, he said it. He said dark world. Is that there are some practices that we kind of hybrid together with other marketing practices to generate our products faster. Yeah. Our approval process sucks. I mean, some of these objectives that we get. Okay, you have to have this done, and I don't like talking about that because that goes sometimes in and out of the classified realm. But there are some objectives that we talk to that, in order for a product to get, SIOP's too slow. It just doesn't work out. It's just too slow, so I don't want to deal with these guys. Or SIOP's not trained, or SIOP's not this. Well, you're asking for a SIOP guy, but you didn't say you needed a multimedia guy. You didn't say you needed a combat camera guy. Or a script writer or all that. You didn't say you didn't want to do that before. You said you wanted a SIOP guy to assist in planning, but then you don't want the guy to be involved in planning because you don't like SIOP, because you're going to get a bad taste in your mouth by saying SIOP, SIOP, SIOP. And then the next people are going to say, you guys are doing SIOP. And that's how the name, this is a SIOP. That's how it gets coined. This is a SIOP.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's a SIOP. You're watching this. This is a SIOP.
That's right. This is all fake, ladies and gentlemen.
So
Jesus.
Yeah, it does, but the process is in itself.
Yeah.
We have a process. There is a process involved to conduct PSYOP. There is other processes that go within that process that help it along. In more of the like I said before, the dark world, more of the faster, higher approval authorities that require a more flash to bang. Then there are other hybrid processes that are involved that expedite it. So you won't see it. You'll see a leaflet. Everyone thinks about leaflets, loudspeakers, soccer balls, backpacks, and all that. But there's other levels of PSYOP that you won't see being done nationally.
It's a layered and complicated system. You're talking about 100 years, almost 100 years of development and process,
right.
reiterations.
Exactly. And lessons learned.
Yeah.
All right, this didn't work out. Well, that didn't work out. Well, with technology now, I can literally, if I really wanted to flex, that's what everyone says. Well, you're just using PSYOP to do WTF. No one said you're using this. We've used the same processes that would any marketing company, aggressive, successful marketing company, or any product would have used. Specifically now, are there some tailoring so that way there's no bleed over into U.S. audiences? Of course, there's going to be some. You're not going to know unless you specifically know to look to broadcast or to post or to message. So that way it doesn't hit or doesn't bleed over into American audiences, because we're not allowed to PSYOP our own people. That's the whole thing. That's why I always laugh when I hear this is a PSYOP, because that's the go to jail shit. That's the shit that says, oh, okay, Tim and Ken sat down together and say we're PSYOPers in the back at the Gold Corp Center of Excellence, and then we freaking the influence wing, of course, and we were to develop a plan to purposely target Americans as a government entity. Then yes, that's jail time. That's
misuse of funds, time,
misuse
resources,
of funds, times, authorities, codes, titles, name your legalese on it, because we always have to have our JAG people. Hey, does this look good? and if he doesn't say no, man, and then it's got to get reworked or whatever to that way, because there's always that fear. Commanders have that fear too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because a bad leaflet goes out and somebody approved it at the GO level, or a bad radio script goes out, or a bad TV spot goes. See, that's the thing too. You only hear about the
stuff that works.
The stuff that works.
Right.
You don't hear about the screw ups. You don't hear about a leaflet that was not approved specifically, that had a bad logo on it that infuriated a nation. Or you won't hear about.
That's the worst nightmare. It was like a FOB commander waking up in the morning after a PSYOP with hundreds of the locals at the front gate expecting something.
Expecting exactly that from a bad radio script or a mistranslated radio script, and usually it's always an American, sometimes trying to add a lot of the
cultural aspects.
They're trying to add their own, what they think is a cultural aspect of it, and then, like you said, just for an example, you have thousands of locals surrounding a FOB entrance, and then all it takes is one agitator to say, "Oh yeah, well that's because they're trying to take our money, or they're trying to take our food, or taking our resources," and then an S-Fest goes off.
Yep.
And then people are like, "Well, see," then they'll blame the PSYOP guy. Ain't that some shit? We always get blamed for it. It's like, dude, we didn't make those tactical decisions on the ground. We didn't set that up. Okay, so now we got to get a PSYOP guy to get his freaking loudspeaker truck and move it up to the freaking, all right, get out of the freaking way. We didn't do it. It wasn't us. and then of course, that's when the public affairs people and the information operations people, we all got to get together. Okay. And this sounds, again, like we're covering our ass, but we have to do counter messaging. What do we have to do for this? Well, we have to counter message.
Yeah.
We didn't do this. This wasn't us. It was somebody else. All right, sir, now you got to get in front of the camera and say, "I am General so-and-so, and this is not what happened, and this is what really happened. And how about we get the locals to come in the base and hang out with us and do that, key leader engagement." And in a way, it's kind of like, it's I don't want to say it's business for us. It is business for us. Yeah. It assists in, because, again, we're influenced. I don't like using the crest, because everyone's like saying, persuade, change, and influence. That's on the PSYOP crest, okay?
Right.
But our regimental crest. But yes, we are. I would say more of the influencing stuff, if anything else, because yes, PSYOP is you're requiring, you're expecting, I should say, an audience to do something by providing that persuade, change, influence.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work out. Yeah,
it's very true. I've had a couple experiences with some PSYOPs teams in Iraq, and that was fun. I think it would speak from some experience there on some fuck ups and some things that worked. Right? It's 50-50 all the time. So if we shift gears a little bit, talking about like big army and some of the things that are happening within that, right? One of the things that we worked on not too long ago was the Vanessa Guillen story and what was going on with that whole horrible debacle that was really, in a lot of ways, the tip of the surface of what's happening at Fort Cavazos.
Yes,
if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, we just say Fort Cav. The kids call it Fort Cav now.
Oh, hey, those kids, they're hip. They're cool.
Well, they're hip to you got to be hip to the game, man. Because I'm like, wait a minute. 1st Cavalry Division, Fort Cav. Wait a minute, that's a PSYOP. Anyway.
That's a PSYOP.
No, but you're right. Yeah, I will say this right now, and I've only said this off, but I've never said this to your face. I will say that I really appreciate our collaboration in those efforts, because those efforts working with the Army, we didn't. Anyone thinks that you guys just a unit. We didn't. No. Our efforts were more of the policy level, and I want to thank you for allowing me to work with you on that.
I mean, it's that's the wonderful thing I love about the things that we do at Grunt Style, or just this community in general, is like when there are people that want to work together, it's amazing things can get done. Like some amazing things can get done. Like there's legislation that came to law out of the work that was started there with a whole bunch of people that were involved in that. And there's you can go down the list. We did some work together on the PACT Act, right? And what we were pushing with that. So there's when the community wants to achieve something, my gosh, there's nothing standing in the way, and that's incredible. Where do you feel the Army is today on all things with its sharp perspectives? When we think about like how the fuck even something like Vanessa Guillen's situation could occur in the military, and the grotesqueness of it, of the whole situation, to where we are today is gotten any better, right? Because we know some like-minded individuals that are spending a lot of time exposing still these things happening in the military. I'm curious on your thoughts.
I will say we are. I say we've improved, but we've not improved enough. The outside of chain of command investigation, great, that was awesome. I think what we need to see more. I don't want to say what we need to see. What needs to happen. I think what needs to happen is that there needs to be more. The Army is afraid. They're a little risk averse when it comes to publicly talking about an individual getting relieved. And the Navy. You look at a boat the wrong way, and the commander's relieved. Yeah. The Navy relieves people left and right. Loss of confidence, loss of trust of confidence, loss of trust of confidence, loss of trust. You don't even know what the hell it was. It's not until follow-up stories are written on what happened.
Yeah.
With us, we don't do that. The Army doesn't do that. The Army will literally, and again, I don't want it to make it sound like the Army's covering anything up. They're just going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
If
the processes.
The processes, yeah. If someone's being investigated for sexual assault, and there's somebody involved, immediately I think, and this is me, Ken Ramos, talking. If I was king for the day, with the Constitution, I would say, okay, this is happening. This investigation, that investigation is going to be happening, which is already happening outside the chain of command. After that same group of individuals, I think should be also allowed more enforcement authorizations.
Yeah.
So if they say, hey, look, dude, this is the general that's in charge of the board conducting this inquiry, and yeah, we found out that this is what happened. It's verified, it's legit. You're relieved. Not only are you relieved, but there's a press statement going out that day to the Army, the Army, to say this individual's been relieved due to an investigation pending to blah 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 blah. That's really what the force needs, because what the force is seeing is, yeah, okay, we made some changes, we made this, but they're not seeing they're not seeing the deliverables, I guess you would say. They're not saying, okay, you've imposed these new processes, you've changed the status of how our soldiers reported missing, but you've not come out and said the other end, like we've not finished. It's almost like how we handle our soldiers when we recruit them. We're all about giving them bonuses. We're all about put them in boots. We're all these campaigns and to get them in mid-service. Okay, well we'll try to we try to work it that way. But then once you leave, what happens? You get thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
Our SFL TAP program sucks. I know it's not a really good comparison, but the force needs to see it. The force needs to see that there's been action happening on leaders that have either neglected to do anything about it, the perpetrator, of course, and then individuals on the outside, because I think it should be treated like an aviation accident. In aviation accidents, there are two boards that are conducted. One of them is a collateral board.
SL Top Gun.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Remarks complete. There we go. But yeah. So that board determines. What was the environment, what was the climate, what were the conditions that led up to this mishap.
Yeah.
And there are actions that happen, and that's what we're lacking. We're not seeing it because. It's hard, specifically when it's a soldier doing something to someone and everyone says, well, he just got a slap on the wrist. Well, there's nothing in our system right now that legally the military can do, no more different than what the civilian world could do for you doing that. So if you...
And does UCMJ operate on precedent?
See, that's the thing. The UCM, no, because we still have charges, we still have articles on the UCMJ for like cattle rustling.
Right.
Why do we have cattle anymore? Unless you're stationed at Fort Calf and you see somebody's cow, I think if you take that cow, I think that will probably be an instance of but the adultery charges, the sodomy charges, the other charges, that I think that it should be more of a because I know we're in the civilian world now. If I were to have an employee that was sexually harassing, I'm not talking about assaulting, sexually harassing another employee, then I would be obligated by equal opportunity to act and either go by whatever the company policies is or whatever laws the state have as well. That's what we're not seeing from the Army. The Army's not saying, okay, well, we got this guy, he was suspended for command for this. They do on certain stories, they do on certain individuals, but it's not as frequent. Specifically when the WTF Nation, the Grunt Style Nation, they know We get the DMs. You get the DMs. Other influencers that we talk to get the DMs. Hey, this is not what happened. This did happen, but there's more to that. And I think if the Army was more, they just got to, they act like they're at the smoke pit. Just say, hey, yep, this fucking shit happened. This is fucking bullshit. Blah blah blah. Now, sexual assault. Now, I think that's the hammer.
Yeah.
That's not. Everyone's like, well, you're only going to hit a small. No. You need the hammer. You need the shockwave. You need that announcement on that unit board that captain or sergeant first class or sergeant or private so and so fucked up, and this is what's happening for sexual assault, and we're sending them to Leavenworth.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised at this point, with it being such a problem since integration's happening within the forces, that like there's been no commander in chief that has really taken this subject on and be like, hey, I'm gonna be more involved in this topic, right?
It makes you wonder why.
Yeah,
but you're like, are you, dude? You're a freaking 3-star, 4-star. I mean, just whatever. Why are you not? Why are you not?
Interested?
Why
are you at least intellectually curious?
Right. Well, why does exactly? Well, why does it have to get the secretary of the Army to get involved to do Army shit?
Yeah.
I mean, she's the Secretary of the Army. She handles the bigger picture of the Army. You know what I mean? And she has generals under her purview to do that. When she suspends a general for improper I don't want to. Whether it be undue familiarity, whether it be unauthorized relationship or favoritism, whatever rank or whatever you want to throw at it for the charges for a general, a 4-star, she suspends the guy. And I'm thinking, where's the why did it take? And I don't want to belittle our civilian, our civilian. I don't want to say civilian overlords. I don't want to belittle the civilian, leadership.
Counterparts,
of the military, but it shouldn't take the civilian leadership of the Army to relieve a general. It should be, and it's like, well, we don't understand what's going on. We don't know what's happening. Well, then why do you even have freaking policies out there? Why are you even trying to? It's almost like a pick and choose on policy, and that's my frustration, because I'll see something in the inbox that we're tracking, and then we don't want to fuck up the investigation by inserting our fucking, because sometimes we do. Sometimes we'll see something we're like, oh hell no. Vanessa Guillen was the perfect example. When things started drumming up, we reached out and said, hey, is anybody gonna? That's when you and I started linking up and really started talking a lot. Is anybody gonna link up with this shit? Is anybody gonna talk to this stuff? Is anybody bringing this? Is anybody giving the family a status of what's happening? And it really frustrated us, because as we saw things pick up, it almost felt like you were watching somebody drown. And I mean like the military drowning in itself and handling it. And
there was so many blunders, man.
There were so many.
With all the generals on Fort Cav, oh my goodness.
Well, see, the thing was that there was a general there was a general deployed, and it almost seemed like, okay, are we working a process here? Are we going to talk about what's happening?
Yeah.
I think there were some individuals that were speaking out of turn, out of hand, when it should have been a GO speaking.
Yep.
And I think the media handling of it, the public affairs side of it. I'm not saying specifically the public affairs regiment, but or their career field, but there were some individuals that spoke in that capacity that shouldn't have spoken in that capacity, and then as the days were going, and then we started finding out that there might be that Specialist Robinson, the suspect. No, I won't say the fucking murderer.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows it was fucking him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think once we have it deemed that, this guy did it, that's where I think the UCMJ, and I go again, king for a day. I might be breaking some legalities by saying this, but no, he's the fucking murderer. He's not a suspect. He is the murderer. And so the way CID handled his case, he had his access to his fucking phone. So as things started picking up, and everyone started putting 2 to 2 together and all that, and the social media not backlash, but the social media traffic.
Yeah.
He started seeing it, and he was left pretty much unsupervised. Oh yeah, okay, you leave somebody in a room with the phone, and then I'm gonna walk out and talk to you, and then he fucking just walks the fuck out, and he just disappears, or what? Anybody walk him out? What exactly happened in that? And that's another thing too, is like when the Army had him, What were did we get any CID updates? Did anybody from CID or the Army's Criminal Investigation Division say, I'm General so-and-so, and this is what happened, and here are our missteps? That's why we feel like to this day, we've not reconciled that case. That's why to this day, people still say there's unanswered questions. Well, yeah, there is, because we've not gotten a statement from CID that specifically, I mean, people don't want to see statements. You could, this whole thing about, I'll use this administration or previous administrations or any leader. Nobody wants to see a statement. They don't want to see a post on Facebook. They want to look you in the eye and say, "Hi, I'm General blank, and this is what happened, and this is what led up to this investigation. We have there were some missteps involved, but this is what happened that caused those missteps. We're relooking this. Those individuals that were in this, relieved or retrained, whatever." But nobody got that.
Yeah.
The only thing we got was Secretary of the Army at the time, Sergeant Major of the Army at the time, and then finally the commanding general there, because the General White was forward deployed, so he wasn't there to go through any of that because he was downrange.
Yeah. And that seemed very manufactured.
Well, I think manufactured to our own disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because what ended up happening is that General White did not see shit there on the ground. He's commanding a fucking task force downrange, so you're not, downrange shit is more important when you're dealing with soldiers' lives and all that, and the stability and the policy of whatever you're doing. But yeah, I would agree a little bit on that too. Yeah, exactly. Is that it was a disadvantage to us back here at Fort Cav, because then we didn't see. Okay, is General White saying something to the other general that was relieved? But my point being is that the audience, this is the key portion of influence. Okay, is that the audience doesn't want to see a statement. The audience wants to look at me discussing this issue and talking about it and what we're going to do about it. If we were in leadership positions, and that was frustrating. That was really frustrating because it took so long for that final message. Okay, today,
it's painful.
It was like, today we're going to talk about Vanessa again, and everyone's like, "About fucking time!"
Yeah.
Why don't you fucking talk about it? Why don't you do this? So, see, the Army Sharp program, to me, is I think it should be, it needs to be more strict.
Yeah.
But then again, they need to understand that's also not too heavy-handed. I'm not saying that everyone talks about zero tolerance. Well, is it zero tolerance to what you, for instance? How do I say this? Cracking a joke. You're cracking a joke about anything. Where you and I are from, say we're from a specific area, we'll just I'm just using a fucking generic joke. We just make a joke. To somebody else, male or female, where they're from, it could be insensitive to what they were and all that. Well, the Army doesn't see the sensitivity part.
Yeah.
The Army doesn't see that. So they say that, okay, it's not your interpretation, it's their interpretation. Well, that's my only issue, because I've seen on the other end, same individual will make a crack a joke that will bother me.
Yeah.
That would bother me. Wouldn't bother me, but that would bother me. Now, we're just talking about just the environment and the climate. I'm not talking about actual touching or actually, because there was one case where there was a leader who motorboated the breasts of a freaking subordinate, and we're like, "What, dude? That I'd beat your ass." That was my significant other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't.
In what world is that appropriate?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It doesn't have to be in the Army. There needs to be no regulation on it. So that's why it's a tough topic to discuss, because then immediately, if you're not looking at it surgically, then an individual is going to say, well, then, just from me, I'm going to guarantee it right now. Just by me saying that, people are going to say, Ken Ramos does not support the SHARP program. Just by me saying that, because we have to look at this. I don't like using Army terms, but we have to look at this holistically. Yeah. And we don't want to overdo it, but then again, we don't want to underdo it.
Yeah, and I during that time period, I was watching social media and consuming all the conversations that were happening around that. Tammy Duckworth comes to mind, and we gotta relook at the SHARP program. And I think I'm in the I don't know, I'm in the house of, like, I don't think SHARP program goes far enough, man. Like, I think it needs we have a big problem with the way that the old guard that continues to latch
Yes.
on like a tick inside of our military, and does not want to give women a chance. That is driving a lot of the situation that's happening in the military.
Yeah, and I love it because the guys that are like that have daughters that want to join,
Yes,
or daughters that are in.
dude. I have a 16-year-old daughter right now who is just got her 4th stripe in jiu-jitsu, was walk on the high school wrestling team, and if she wants to go into the military, I'm gonna be like, I don't know, like there's a bunch of fucking guys in there that will try to rape you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you as a dad would see that because
Yeah.
that's what you're getting from. That's what you're seeing from the media, and
Yeah.
of course, obviously from our work. Is anybody going to do anything about it? You're right. Again, I keep going back to that. We don't want to underdo it, but we don't want to overdo
Yeah.
it because,
Yeah.
again, I'm separating sexual harassment, like making a fucking comment or a joke, to that right
Oh, yeah,
there, yes,
certainly,
that to an actual assault.
Yeah.
Once you touch a woman, maybe it's some old-fashioned tradition. You don't hit women. You don't touch women. You don't touch women that don't belong to you. You don't touch women that if the woman says no or whatever, then hands up. My bad. No. Then bye.
Right.
That you don't fucking sit there and say you don't force yourself on that. But you're seeing this as a dad too. My my family sees inbox stuff too. Like they know about. Hey, do you ever see some of this stuff like this? Do you ever see? My God, it happens. And here's what happened. And what are you working on, Dad? And then this is what's going on. And they're like, oh, or they see a podcast. They see my podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
And they see me going off about it, and they're like, hell no. Why would I? They're like, I'm the dad too. I'm like,
yeah. I've got my oldest son is in the Navy right now.
Yeah.
He's he's on a big boat out there.
yeah, out and about doing stuff. You
Yeah.
know? And I'm pretty sure in his environment, he's probably seen comments, or he's probably heard, or he's probably seen heard stories about the same shit.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is that, like you were saying, it's those old heads. I love this topic because it's always the old heads that like, well, we all bleed red, white, we bleed red. You want to join my country? You want to serve my country and join it? And I don't give a shit who. I don't care if you're purple, green, whatever. You could join whatever. Okay.
Just not be a woman in the infantry.
Exactly. Yeah, just not be a woman in anything.
Right.
Or don't be LGBTQ. What was that? You just said you didn't give a fuck if they're red hair, blue, whatever, purple skinned. Well, you didn't care, right? But now all of a sudden you care. That's why I love talking about the woke comment on the military, because they're just, what? What? What do you mean? Why woke? Hey, look, I'll be honest with you. There was some veterans right now who've done a whole lot more than me, but they have told me stories that there was one, and this is again, I don't know if this is just smoke pit bullshitting around the campfire or what, but there are a couple of guys that talked about there was in Afghanistan. I never went to Afghanistan. I've only went to Iraq and Africa.
Sure.
And so they were telling me a story about Afghanistan, that there was a pilot that as soon as she came on the mic and was providing close air support, I think she was an Apache pilot, or I think it was Apache pilot. Immediately, everyone like, oh, she's here. And I'm like, well, then, dude, she's running and gunning, and she's fucking, doing some support on you. Then why do you have a beef with women in the military? Why do you think women shouldn't serve? Or why?
Right.
Well, I don't think that. I'm like, well, I'm just saying. I was like, you just literally just told me, yeah, man, we were in this hill, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden we hear this, blah, 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 moving in, blah, 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 blah. And she has a great radio voice. I'm like, but yeah, she's like flying a fucking, super helicopter with fucking, shooting hellfires the bad guy.
That sounds like so many people I know.
Yeah. Well, again, it goes to the question, what's woke in the
right.
military? The media does that all the time. The media always does that. Well, the military is woke. Yeah, well, what's woke mean, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, is that you don't want nobody to serve with you? That you don't agree with or don't like? Because they're the first ones to say the military should be political. Then don't say fucking woke.
Right, exactly.
Don't say fuck. That's a political term.
You know what my experience was in the Marine Corps? Being around a bunch of other poor Americans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
I didn't care where they came from or what they looked like, but we all shared the similarities, that we came from, like, bad upbringings.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part about it. You can have somebody that comes from being raised on a farm. You can have somebody from the barrio. You can have somebody from, living in suburbia or from the inner city.
Yeah.
And there's a meme out there where it shows American soldiers hanging out at a cookout, and you see the cholo, you'll see a guy with the saggy pants, and you see the cowboy, and you'll see the yuppie looking guy and all that. But that is the demographic of America that I think people don't realize that it's currently serving.
Yeah.
So when you sit there and say, well, the Army is too woke, and then you're saying, okay, what does that mean? Because you're talking to I don't look it, but I'm Latino. And so it's okay. Well, no, I wasn't talking about you, Ken. Well, when did you become so Mexican? I've always been Mexican, dude. What are you talking about?
When did you become Mexican?
And I'm like, what do you
I
mean?
thought you were a white guy.
You say, wait a minute, I thought you were one of us. What does that mean?
I thought Ramos was your PSYOP name.
Exactly. That's a PSYOP name, right? That's your agent name for whatever the hell you want to be. As long as you ain't woke.
It's funny because there's a painting upstairs. I don't know if you've seen it in walking around, but it's a pretty big mural, about 60 feet long, and it walks through every aspect of America from its founding, right? And it's paying homage to the Native Americans, to the free Black Americans of the Revolution,
right?
All the way through the Latino contributions in Vietnam,
right.
The largest contribution of Americans at that time. Like, that is the fabric of our country.
Right.
What is woke about that?
As I'm saying,
I don't get it.
I think what the term is that woke has been abused. The term has been abused. Everybody knows being woke is to be awakened to social injustice, to civil rights, to equal rights. Civil rights is equal rights. That's what you be awake to that. So when I hear the military saying, "Well, the military is woke," well, what's woke about it? Nobody can tell me. Nobody can articulate an exact term using it in that way for the military. The Army has AR 600-20. I've said this before. That we've had that policy forever, the Equal Opportunity Program, the SHARP program. And that's it. The only thing that regulation says that's different is that if you're going to conduct official business in the Army, the operational language is English. You cannot discriminate against anybody to use their native-born language. Being a PSYOP, we're supposed to learn the languages anyway, so everyone's rattling off in their languages. But that's it. That's the only thing that I think the Army is totally just like, bam. That's what we nailed down.
Yeah. The
operational language of the Army is English. Everyone's got to do it. But however, we don't discriminate against anybody using it in private or normal conversations and stuff like that. So it's. I don't. What are you trying to say? What woke is? Just do I think the Army's overreactive and oversensitive to some issues? Yes. Yes, completely. I do. But woke, I mean that term to me, every time I hear it, it drives me up the wall because it's not providing no one's providing me any true definition. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So what does woke mean to you? Is that you don't like what that person does or how that person is, and you call that woke? Well, did you just say earlier you didn't give a shit? We all bleed red. We all bleed green, and now all of a sudden you're adding a stipulation to it.
Right.
So that sounds like discrimination. That sounds like you're being restricted to your teammates. Are you jealous because they can run faster than you? What they can hump a ruck longer than you? That whole conversation. To me, it's like a circle conversation because no one can ever give me a legit.
It's a rumination of nothingness.
Yeah. Oh, insensitivity. Well, specifically in the veteran community. I mean, well, that's dude. Aren't you married to like a Latina or something like that? Or aren't you married to somebody from Vietnam or Thailand? Or how could you say that so that means you're woke?
Right.
No, I'm not woke. Oh. and then we get into the divisiveness within the veteran community on topics like that when we're supposed to be, like you were saying, working together to better the community. We're supposed to be getting all of the positive attributes from our military service and push ourselves. I shouldn't say that. And use those traits to become a better citizen. Mm-hmm. once we're out of the uniform. Once we hang the uniform up, then the positive attributes of our service go into the community to rebuild it and all that. I mean, you think about the World War II. We always say the greatest generation. They came back from World War II, didn't really talk about it, didn't really focus on some stuff. They just wanted to get back to work and rebuild America, and it happened. We just seem to have come back angry, pissed off. What are we pissed off about? I mean, really think about it. I mean, I've discussed with other service organizations, hey, you got to fill this paperwork out in order for you to assist you with your benefits or make sure you're getting seen for your ratings and all that. Well, okay, I didn't want to. I did fill that out. No, did you download the app though? There's sometimes, if you use the app, you could, like My Healthy Vet, you could use the app and it'll help you. Well, this is bullshit. You hate vets, huh? Dude, what? I'm just telling you, this is the process that needs to happen. Just it's like they need to track it. They need to know where this is going to, unless you're bullshitting them.
Right.
If you're bullshitting them and saying, I just want to get my 100%, all right, well, let's go down the list. What happened?
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's another scam, dude. I talk to so many people, man. I'm 60% rated, and I'm talking to people that have 100%. I'm like, how the fuck are you doing that?
Right.
Well, I'm just applying. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They're not just handed 100% rating out like candy.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that too. I think the VA overreacts too on some of that stuff because they don't want to be held to scrutiny on. Now, I think 100% for PTSD, I think should always be that. It should no issues because. But like I don't have 100%. I mean, I am disabled. I mean, I do have a rating. I have 90%. I have the Army says I'm 70% because I'm gonna beat the fuck up, and so I just do my paperwork.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, okay, we need this. All right, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you might need to do this for an upgrade. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's pretty typical of a military career.
Yeah. Just like, okay, there you do that. Okay, and then you make sure you do this. Okay, cool. Congratulations. Here's more prescriptions. All right, cool. Thank you. Is there any opioids? No, thank you, because I don't want to take that shit because that shit fucks me up. But no, but again, it's like we end up fighting amongst ourselves. Just like right now, this conversation, someone's going to bleep it. Someone's going to cut it and edit it and say, Ken Ramos and Tim Jensen think that veterans don't deserve 100%.
Right.
And they're always going to fucking do that. And that's not the case. It's because there's somebody who's got 2 to 3 years of service, did one deployment, came,
Yeah.
just
I think
fine.
the legitimate question for me is like, what's the litmus here of like, how these things are getting through?
I think a lot of them. There's a lot of what do they call them? What was it? Somebody used a term with me earlier. Claim sharks. They're the individuals that are companies that are out there that you pay them so much money, and then they'll help you get your money. Help you get your raise. Now
that's a big thing going on right now.
Yeah, exactly. Now is that also, and it's hard to sit there and tell somebody, no, you're not hurting when I don't know what they're going through or whatever. Again, I always say, don't self-diagnose because it's always the ones that say, well, I got PTSD. Are you diagnosed? Did you have a doctor say, yes, this individual has? Did the VA say, yep, PTSD? Some people just say, oh, I got PTSD. Don't self-diagnose yourself because that also puts another, I don't want to say bad mark, but we veterans have a negative connotation when it comes to PTSD.
Right. Like the instant go-to is like, when you're going to have your Rambo moment, dude.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, not only that, but there's also people that are like, oh, well, like, think about this. When you self-diagnose, it can affect you in more ways than one. Just by making a statement, saying, I have PTSD. Okay, you say you have PTSD. And you go through a divorce or you're at work and you say that and you're not diagnosed at all. You're not getting any benefit to it. You're not getting claimed for nothing. And you get fired from your job just because you saying something and companies have the right to do it. They can say, hey man, you're fucking angry as fuck. Well, maybe you didn't get diagnosed correctly, or maybe you're self-diagnosed. You diagnosed yourself into a situation that if you just, I don't want to say it. I'll say it. If you just shut the fuck up, go through the right processes, then of course you're telling me that I don't like vets because I'm making you go through this process. Because that's the biggest frustration is that nobody wants to hear that they don't have something or do have something. Yeah. There are veterans out there that are really proud that they don't have PTSD and really don't feel like it. So when you say, hey, maybe you think you need to go get checked out, they get offended. Or the ones that you say, hey, you say you got PTSD, so where's your claims? Where's your documents? Because it protects you, under the 88 as well. If you do get fired for having PTSD, or if the employer says you got fired for PTSD, then you got a case with the ADA on it, and you should. But you're right, and then it goes back to the veteran community. Well, who can out disable who? It's like, do you ever see that one Saturday Night Live skit?
That's every conversation at the VFW right now.
Exactly. Well, there's that Billy Crystal. had that where they're two night watchmen and this old school fucking night watchman old school skit in SNL. And he's like, yeah, it's, you ever run into like a thing? Oh, yeah, it's like a meat thermometer going in my head. And well, the same thing. A veteran will sit around and is like, hey, man, you doing good? No, I'm in my back. Matter of fact, I said that one on the way. Hey, bro, I got to fucking, I'm sorry, I got to maneuver myself because I got a bad back. Oh, yeah, well, you got a bad back. Well, I got 2 broken legs. Well, you got 2 broken legs? Bro, I smashed 5 vertebrae. And the next thing you know, well, what's your rating? It's like a bro check.
Yes,
what's your rating, bro? You get 100%? Where's your DV tags?
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's like, where's your DV tags? What are you talking about?
Purple heart.
Yeah, you got a purple heart, bro. What do you mean?
I've got 3.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm not PTSD qualified. Yeah. Sorry, we're totally not related to PSYOP, but it's just I laugh at it too, and then they get mad at me for laughing at it. Yeah. I'm like, dude, it's if you're saying it's veteran humor on other topics, then say it's veteran humor when I say it to you about it.
Yeah,
just
exactly. It's not selective.
Yeah, it's like currently there's a veteran right now who said, I just want to off myself. Am I a veteran now? Was it Brandon Herrera? He said that. Just joking. And immediately, because he's running for office. Yeah. Everybody, oh my God, he hates vets. And dude, I have said that. I have said, Jesus Christ, you made me want to drive into a lake. Yeah. I'm not.
Shit, I make,
I'm not going to drive into a lake, by the way. There's nothing wrong with me. I am perfectly sound. My mind's sound, and I don't want to harm myself in case once this podcast
Do you have
released,
any problems with Hillary Clinton right
Yeah, I was
now?
about to say, I don't want to get Hillary at all. Easy now. This is not a freaking political joke. I'm just saying that's the commonality now. Just for some reason, there's a lot of people that die. Anyways, but yeah, I get wrapped around the axle on just how veterans, they want to understand, the civilian populace wants to understand veterans. They want to understand us. And then you'll have other ones that'll say, like in Brandon's case, hey, I just want to fucking, commit suicide. I'm paraphrasing what he said. I guess I'm a veteran now. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. The statistics, veterans,
it's not a lie.
It's not a lie. Veterans do joke about it. I just want to off myself sometimes. Makes me want to start a shotgun. I've heard all those terms that you've heard at work. Like, man, this fucking blows, dude. Just kill me now. Yeah. Or you've been on a long ruck. You're in a long ruck, but you're like, oh my God, I just wish a truck would hit me. Oh my God, you don't look like veterans. And Tim Jensen's running for office, and he made a joke about committing suicide. Right. And again, it's our dark humor that people just have to fucking settle the fuck down.
Yeah. When did we get so sensitive as a country, man? Like, when did that happen? Yeah. Right? Because I remember growing up, you hear from all the people older than you, sticks and stones and break your bones.
Right. Yeah, sticks and stones will break my
bones.
The
words will never
exactly,
hurt me.
Yeah. Words
now it's like the biggest goddamn weapon in the world.
Now, for instance, like I'm telling you right now, with the advent of AI, the way people like to clip stuff together, me and you will have this podcast, and immediately...
Oh yeah, we've had Joe Biden call into the programming before using that technology. It is hilarious.
It is. Yeah. I mean, we used it as an example. We used it as an example. Me and one of my hosts, we just were goofing around with it, and it's fucking scary. Yeah. It's almost like you're looking at a ghost. You're like, holy shit, did I just really say that? Or I could say there is technology out there where you can manipulate a podcast to where you could just grab a recording of a podcast and put it into an algorithm in a specific program. I'm not going to tell you the program because then everyone's going to like steal my idea. But
that's Gold Court technology.
That's proprietary information, part of Gold Corp. CEO selection. And they you're able to just change a pod. I could get a podcast and just change the whole thing on it, different voices and all that, and it's scary. But yeah, when did we get so sensitive? When did the veteran community that's supposed to portray this, like Richard Pryor used to say, "I'm macho man." When do we remove ourselves from the macho, whatever, to now, if like I'm going to be stigmatized for wearing a Grunt Style T-shirt, I'm going to be stigmatized for wearing any whatever. I'm going to be just because. Oh, see. Ken's made it. He's made it to the path of vet bros. Right. Did you know that fucking Gold Corp's got a vet bro? They got a vet bro wig. You better watch out. The vet bros are here. Right. The vet bros. And that's another thing, too, is like to see us talking, because we've always, WTF Moments never had that I don't want to say they had a brand of it. I mean, come on, we're posting issues that are currently happening within the force. We post memes and stuff like that. But you've never seen us have there's not a specific merch, a specific style. That's going to change, but it's going to change for the better. But it's not going to be what everyone thinks is a vet bro. But then again, I always think, well, what is a vet bro?
Right.
Like, there's nothing wrong with. Like, I'm not infantry, so am I going to get in trouble from stolen valor? Because you just had Anthony over here.
Yeah,
He's
right.
gonna, hey, Ken,
That's my favorite. It's my favorite question. It's like, oh man, like, or not question, but statements like, oh, I can't wear that, and all these people that are wearing it aren't fucking infantry. Well, you're not on the Chicago Bears, but you wear Bears.
Right.
Uniform.
Right. Well, I don't want to bust out the fucking college football people, but I always drag on. Oh, so you got that Clemson jersey on, huh? Did you attend Clemson? No.
Right.
Anybody in the family? No. So then why you wear Clemson? Because.
Right. Anybody that wears the Baltimore Ravens endorses stabbing females. Ray Lewis.
Yeah, exactly that.
Like, what?
Exactly. Oh my God, dude, go down that line. Next thing you're gonna have Stephen Smith call us up. I want to talk to these guys because I want to know what they meant by that. Because then, like you said, sensitivity.
Yeah.
Or, are you saying that now everybody who wears a Baltimore Ravens, or like me, I like wearing Raiders shit? Oh, Ken, what are you trying? You're misappropriating a culture? Why? Because only Latinos wear. Oh, so you're saying only Latinos wear fucking Raider shit?
Right.
Because have you seen some Cowboys gear out here? Holy crap! but again, it's the brand. Where did we get so sensitive to where it's like the chicken and the egg, man? Where did we get so sensitive?
Yeah.
It's like to the point to where we've went from the fuck your feelings mentality.
Yeah.
On a lot of shit,
Yeah.
but then on other stuff, don't talk about that.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, I think if I were to throw a dart at the wall, I think it really started happening right as the peak of GWAT happened, and the influence of the veteran in the marketplace started to lose its footing. Mm-hmm. And then the veteran, in my opinion, people are going to probably criticize me on this, is that the veteran wasn't front and center anymore, and their opinion didn't matter as much as it did previously.
Right.
And now it's like, I'm going to be extraordinarily oversensitive on a lot of these subjects.
Well, not to mention the fact that we're turning on each other now.
Yes, 100%.
Well, and we just had a recent case with the stolen valor. Now, I won't say it's stolen valor. It was just the site, the stolen valor.
Yeah.
And he identified a congressman's awards and said, hey, man, you're not authorized to wear that. You're not supposed to be wearing that. And there was a report from Jim Laporta, too, CBS News. And, hey, you're not authorized to wear those Bronze Stars, or you don't have Bronze Stars. Well, me, being a retired senior NCO, and you've been in inspection before, record here says you're not authorized to wear that ribbon, so take that shit off.
Yeah.
And then that's it. There's no drama. There's no Roger Sarnt.
Right.
And then you move out, go get your ribbon rack fixed, because until it's in your records, you got to make sure it's in your records. Put it in your records, and then that way we'll know. If it's not in your records, you ain't got it.
Right.
I've got retirement awards that have been given to me or sent to me while I'm retired. Well, I don't wear my. It's not in my record, so I'm not going to wear that extra ribbon or the extra award that I'm going to have. That's just the way it is. Why, as a senior NCO, I see that as an on-the-spot correction. Well, it turned into you hate vets. It turned into you're dragging name through the mud. Then it became an argument on what a Bronze Star's level of is it a Normandy Bronze Star or is it a OIF Bronze Star? You know what I mean? And you're thinking, Jesus Christ, where have we come to where we've gotten to? Like you said, we've become sensitive ass bitches on this stuff, because they look, dude, we're not trying to drag your name through the mud. We're telling you that there is an administrative error, and if you're wearing a combat infantryman badge that you weren't authorized to wear, but you did earn a combat action badge, then fucking wear the combat action badge.
Yeah.
We're giving. Well, I didn't know, dude. You're a field grade officer.
Senior.
You did to say that you didn't know is like the most dumb. It's like that's like the most private. I mean, I'll say this as an NCO to him. It's the most private thing you can fucking say.
Yeah.
You didn't know. You're a fucking field grade officer, and you knew that wearing this badge that you weren't supposed to wear. And if you didn't know, didn't bother to fucking check. I mean, shit, if that's the case, I'm going to start flaunting some, I didn't know. I can't
You want some bubbles? I got bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. Goes right here. Because it's like that. It's all the stolen valor memes that you see. The guy that wears all the badges.
Yeah.
And then you start doing the math. You're like, holy shit, dude.
This guy's been in it for 80 years.
This guy's been for all the time it took you to train. And we have PSYOP stolen valor too.
Yeah.
We have guys that like to wear that ghost patch, and then oh, where'd you graduate the course? When'd you go to the course? Who's your instructor? Because our community's pretty small.
Yeah.
It's real small. So it I'm just giving you a rough estimate. Roughly 1,500 active duty.
Yeah.
And then the reserves have their numbers too. I'm not too familiar in the reserves because they have their organizations, and then they put different career management fields inside to serve in the PSYOP position until they go to the school. And so their numbers are but for the active duty side that I can speak to, it's about 1,500. I'd say between 13 and 1,500. So we know who. Hey, you were in when you joined. Just like JD, I know JD, your guy, was in 3rd PSYOP Battalion. And immediately we connected names to faces. Oh, so-and-so, and that blah, 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 blah. So the same thing. I get this. I ask the same thing. Hey, you wearing the PSYOP stuff? I don't mind you wearing the ghost shit. I'm just, are you got any members, got any family? Because I always say, it's like, if I see somebody wearing an 82nd hat, and I'm like, I don't immediately say, you weren't in the 82nd, stolen valor. I don't do that. I go, oh, so you got family in the 82nd? Were you in the 82nd? And that's how the conversation, oh yeah, my brother, my best friend who got killed, he gave me this hat. And something like that. I don't get wrapped around the axle. But it's the ones that say, I know PSYOP. Oh, well, when'd you graduate? Oh, I see you got a ghost emblem on there, huh? What is this? What does that mean? So when'd you say? Well, because PSYOP, and I get, I don't know. You've been PSYOP explained? I've been PSYOP explained. I get PSYOP explained, and I'm just sitting there listening. Interesting.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay, and then when you say something, now all of a sudden, oh, see, he's weaponizing PSYOP. It immediately turns into an argument that I'm trying to discredit you. No, because veterans in themselves, we have that innate ability to correct. We want to be correct. We correct stuff. And we're real quick to call stolen valor. There's been cases where people have called stolen valor, and it's backfired.
Oh, several, yeah.
And it's to the point to where you really got to be careful. That's why WTF Moments at the beginning got into a little bit of the, I wouldn't say the stolen valor stuff, but we had Guardian of Valor, we had Guardian of the Green Berets come on, and all that, and we just talked to them and bring it up, and then they prevent those kids. We've posted a couple of pictures where soldiers have been out of uniform, or and then as we evolved as the page, as the brand, we started looking at it. Well, what's no different than Vietnam veterans when they got back? They're a Vietnam veteran guy, served in Quezon, only there, got wounded for not even there a year, and he's wearing his old unit jacket that he's put patches on it, and it's got cut off sleeves, and he goes and visits the Vietnam Memorial. So you're going to call him stolen valor? You're going to say that he's not authorized to wear that stuff? So it's a tricky mess, but legit cases like that congressman, hey, dude, you didn't earn a combat infantry badge. As a matter of fact, your records say that it was revoked. It was erroneously awarded, and then it was revoked. And immediately became, this is mudslinging. Yeah. You hate vets.
I was watching some of the back and forth on that.
Then I'm like, what do you mean, dude?
I tend to fancy myself as a social media lurker.
Oh, well, yeah, because that's the thing too. I got to be careful. And I know you've given me some good advice on being public, bro. You say something and immediately, oh, Tim Jensen said this and Tim Jensen said that. Well, just like we were talking about the PACT Act stuff.
Yeah.
And you were there standing next to Jon Stewart when a prominent right wing individual.
No, left wing, very left.
No, not Jon Stewart. When I was saying, a prominent right wing individual walked up to you two.
Oh yeah,
when we're doing that stuff, and I'm like, bruh, you're don't even try to troll us. That's when I think veterans should stick together.
Yeah,
veterans should stick together when it comes to common causes like the PACT Act, the Venezuelan Act. I think personally that's when we should come together. And
I think it's a culmination of our best. And I've been talking about that particular event a lot to people because there's a lot behind the scenes that happen there that not many really people know about, right?
Yes.
So when we were bringing people to the steps of the Capitol to sit there with us, we put that call out for every red-blooded American.
Yeah.
And every red-blooded American showed up.
Yep.
To include people that I would normally not sit across the table from and break bread with, but because they were there to support the veteran, we accepted them into our conversation. David Hogg was one of those individuals.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that.
And I sat and I spoke with that kid, and I was like, listen, man, like we do not fundamentally agree on a lot of things, but if you're here to earnestly and honestly talk about the veteran issues and what we're trying to achieve here, we would love to have you and love your voice. And that dude stood with us for the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We had transsexuals coming and standing with us.
Mm-hmm.
And, same conversation. Hey, we may not agree on a lot of things, but if you're here to help the veteran message, we want you in our camp and we want your voice.
Right.
And they came in droves and they stood with us the entire time.
Right.
We're still friends with these people
Right.
from the Grunt Style Foundation, and we still communicate to a lot of these individuals.
See, that's the thing about when we posted us checking in here,
Yeah.
and I saw a couple comments on that post, and we have a WTF Moments policy that unless it's an active investigation, that one of our posts can hinder an actual investigation or an investigation in progress, then we will take it down. But you got to really show us, hey, we left it up because people are like, oh, well, Grunt Style. I thought people still wear that shit. People still wear whatever. And I look at it like WTF Moments, Grunt Style, name your whatever, has this vet bro mentality, but people don't see behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. The Grunt Style Foundation, the work that we've done, and that's another thing too, is that we work together on a lot of projects for Congress, for the communication side of the house, and we've grabbed a lot of staffers and lobbyists. And a good friend of mine, Amy Sanchez, hi Amy, she walked us through at WTF Moments the processes of this is how it works. This is what specific stuff. When the upgrade for Al One Cash's award went from a Silver Star to the Medal of Honor, well deserved, which should have been a Medal of Honor from the get go. Yeah. She walked us through that process. She walked us through the whole. Hey, this is what happened. Now this is how the communication side of the house. You do have comms background, but this is how it works for the congressional side of the house. And I didn't realize how much it was, both parties got together, two entities, WTF Moments and Grunt Style got together. And this is not a plug to the Grunt Style or WTF Moments at all, but it was just, I'll just say it, if I wasn't part of this organization, I would be able to be as an observer to say, wow, two organizations that we didn't think would work together are working together for the veteran cause.
Right.
The Grunt Style Foundation the same way. The Triangular Compass the same way with you guys with your work in that. Great product. It's sung to me a lot because veterans don't have, when we get in, like I said before, the Army has these great programs to bring you in. Oh, we'll bring you in degree completion program, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know about that anymore, but I know because Army's cutting some educational stuff. But there are some programs to entice, to put them in boots, to get soldiers to come in. We're in service. There's some promotions and there's assignments that keeps us in. But once we get out, there's no op order.
Right.
One of the things, the key takeaway that I took from the Triangular Compass was you got to be your own QRF. You are your own QRF. These are specifics that we can give you to assist you for that forward mission planning for your life, for yourself. Because once you get out there, you're naked out there by yourself, going, oh shit, what do I do next? And that product that you guys put out, that to me is what I think the veterans community should strive for. Yeah, okay, there's some bantering back and forth and some shit talking on the outer ends or whatever. But when it comes to like a cause like the PACT Act, when it comes to the cause like Vanessa Guillen, when it comes to the cause of other benefits that could be eroded from us because now the GWOT's technically over, Infinity War's done, then we have to, all we have is each other. We don't. We can't afford to be bickering amongst ourselves and get politicized because you brought this up. Where are the veterans right now? Like right now we're fighting. There's turmoil in the country, and we're all fighting amongst each other. And then we're like, no, because you support this one person or you support this one thing. Once I saw that other influencer, that other right-wing influencer get in your guys' face, because I was legit like, what do I do with my hands? I'm like, okay. Tim's not there. He's a little bit bigger than me, but I'm all that. Okay, maybe I'll just grab his ankles or tackle the guy, whatever. Because it got heated. Got you. There was you, John Stewart, and I'll say his name, Jack Posobiec, standing right there, and I'm like, and everyone's like, oh, immediately put the phone out. Oh, I guess something. I'm like, no, dude. I said, I was like, put that fucking shit down, bro. It's because if these guys start swinging, it's going to fuck up the cause that we're trying to do. All they're going to say on the outside is that, oh, these got angry vets everywhere. See, they can't even come together to do this program.
That's exactly it.
And they can't do it together for this. So, I guess whatever. I mean, it's that fine line that we have as vets already.
Yeah.
It is frustrating to see. But yes, do I like doing memes and shit talking at each other? Of course. I don't get
It's a favorite pastime.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's I'll see a Grunt Style meme come across the board. I go, huh. I'll see a WTF Moments meme come like, I laugh too.
Yeah.
The kids love it. Whatever. That's good interaction. But
it ain't hurting my business.
no, right. Well, yeah. No, see, that's the thing.
Keep doing it, please.
Please. Yeah. If anything else, it's people like, oh, they took your pick.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. I can see your watermark. Yeah, they did, didn't they? They took it. So like you said, if anything else, it's spreading our mark. But that whole
at the end of the day, we're marketers, man.
Yeah.
It's like
You're
psyoping.
Ghost, there you go, boy. There you go. Hit it. But yeah, it's yeah.
I think it's one of the things I want to get back to, and you touched on it just a second ago. It's like, where are the veterans, man? There are 3.5 million of us that raised our hand to go out and fight this country's 20-year, the Infinity War. We did that. We came back, and we just retreated into the void. Right? We're not standing up. We're not. In a time today where we could provide the vision of where this country needs to go, we don't have a mission for America right now. What are we walking
right.
towards?
Yeah, exactly.
We're walking through the dark with an 80-year-old president, right? And I'm not going to talk about the politics of anything.
Of
here,
course,
right?
Yeah.
But we are asunder. We're drifting in the ocean right now,
right?
And we have to put reasonable people back in the con, right?
Right. Well, we're in a circular boat, and all of us are rowing in different directions.
Yeah.
So we're just like you said, we're just meandering along the coast, and we're not even taking the shoreline yet. And where are our veterans? My thing is, well, immediately someone's going to say, well, yeah, where are our veterans? Well, one's part of QAnon, or one's part of the left, one's part of the right, one's they're indecisive people, and I think for our we have to find our mission, man. Mm-hmm. And what sucks is that immediately it becomes partisan, or immediately becomes political and heated just because of what someone's Facebook page said back and whatever post, or someone's and I get frustrated. I'm like, dude, okay, yeah, well, you're not going to talk about the president, or you're not going to talk about the former president, or you're about a future president, or you're going to whatever. Look, I think there should be term limits for Congress. I think there should be age limits for public service. If you're already hitting 80 and you're running for a he's at 82 or something like that right now, and Trump's like near 80 or something like that. I don't pay attention to their ages. I just know that they're once you hit that in their 70s portion of it, then that means you're willing to elect somebody that's going to be almost 90 freaking years old by the end of their term, and that's what you want running. That's what you want making the decisions for the country. I'm not saying that because you have that one grandpa. Well, he's sharp as a tack. Yeah, he's sharp as a tack, but he also shoots freaking squirrels off his porch in a public neighborhood, and it could hit a freaking That's the kind of way that I see it. It's you're. Because if you say, where are all the veterans at? Immediately in the influence mind, Ghosty will agree, immediately it could go, yes, we need to stand up. We need to go take over the Capitol.
Oh, yeah, there's that conversation, right?
And the media, or we need to run for office, where people will listen to a veteran, because a veteran, it's even like I said, being a former grunt, being a former artillery, being a former tanker, yeah, I got it. But when a former psyoper says, we need to do something about this. Yeah, right now. We need to stand up together.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. You guys don't even know it. Ghost is in the machine behind us, baby. And then what do you do? Then of course you run into that wall. Well, see, Ken Ramos and Tim Jensen are talking about conducting an insurrection. That's not what we said. Right. What we said is that we need veterans that like I said before, what the greatest generation did, grabbing the positive attributes of their service and putting it back into the economy, putting it back in the workforce, rebuilding our country from a wartime service. We need to be bringing it like that. We get into the bickering when someone says, well, Trump, or well, Biden, or well, Clinton, or well, Barack Obama. And what people don't realize is that all the badasses that want to grow beards, and no offense, but But I'm just saying the guys that we develop that soft. Because think about it, I mean, soft is a trendsetter, you know.
Yeah, sure. Tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear. As soon as you saw
I
that
want to be that guy.
I want to be that. I want to be just like him. He's got a beard.
Right.
I want to grow a beard. You know, I want to grow a beard too, but my shit's so white it looks like it's fine growing fiber optic. So I gotta either diet or whatever. But the fuck, I lost my train of thought. Because your glorious beard. well, we'll say the positive attributes of it, and being that way is that we've emulated a lot of things from the veteran community that like I said, the beard. Okay, well then your positive outlook about the beard. Well, that is now taken a whole new meaning to. Okay, well, so now if you got a beard and you're a vet bro.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. It's your preference or whatever, but. You want to bring a positive outlook. You want to bring a positive outlook to the public of what veteran service is about, and then you say something like that, then immediately you get labeled as an insurrectionist. What people don't realize, and I got my point. I found my point again. Sorry, my mind's Ghosty's back there looking at me. Sorry, bro. I'm trying. Is that when people talk about Obama. What people don't realize is that Barack Obama was the biggest supporter for SOF. Mm-hmm. Was one of, I served during his presidency, and I think I saw more. I saw a lot. I don't give a fuck about policy. I don't mean talking about policy. I'm just about the we were allowed to do what we weren't allowed to do. Obviously, when Trump came into office, the window, the aperture opened up a little bit more, but. Primarily, when people go, well, it's Obama's fault, or it's this fault, or he did this, or he did that, I'm thinking, dude, were you the same fucking soft I was in? Because I remember being busy as shit when he was in. It was like, hey, the market's open.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really, I really didn't see the political, and that's our problem is that we want to attach something political to somebody to blame. Look, yes, was the Afghanistan withdrawal a botched operation? Yes, it was fucking botched as hell. Could have gone differently. Yes, but I'm not a fucking general, and I wasn't in the room.
Yeah.
And also this stuff. From what I've seen, with those 13 members, we all saw those 13 members come back in caskets. The final withdrawal, it really frustrates me because I want us to do good. I want us to be those citizens. But then again, the American public has to understand that you broke us too. It was your elected officials that sent us out there. It was your elected officials that
kept us there.
They kept us there for 20 years. So now you're going to have to come back and mend us back together. You're going to have to welcome us back with open arms. I'm not saying the public is not, but you're going to have to be a little bit more understanding when we pop off with a comment or we'll say a remark or whatever. It's just we've been conditioned that way. Like I said, I almost got 30 freaking years of service.
Yeah.
And there are some things that. Like I was telling the guys, hey, Sergeant Major, or hey, sir. I'm like, dude, stop, call me Ken, man, please. We're in almost 30 fucking years for this shit. Call me Ken. And it's frustrating because the veteran community does not. I don't want to be a dead horse. We're not coalescing. We're not working together.
Not hitting on full cylinders.
Yeah, exactly. And
there's a lot of it's ego and a lot. There's a lot in that, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, yeah. In your world, you want to come out on top, just like you. One thing about the Grunt Style is that I've seen it. I've seen it mature just like WTF Moments did.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation before. We've seen it mature from what it used to be to now. It has a foundation, and now it's talking about your own QRF. You guys got a freaking field manual now on how to reintegrate back into the world and understand where your place is in the world and your life with your family, your religion, who you are. Because the triangular compass was articulated well is that we're not looking at you to be a specific religion. We just to whatever deity you believe in. Spiritual, yeah. Exactly. An inner peace type thing. To me, that was a win. That I was telling JD that sung to me because a lot of individuals have been using religion, good or whatever belief you want to believe in, for political gain, and then it gets to the point to where then now you're having politicians say, "Hey, we only have one God. This God runs the country," and I'm like, "Wow, whoa, First Amendment." freedom of speech, separate church and state. No government can't mandate a religion.
Right.
We're saying you could practice freely, but you just can't whatever
mandate
it. Yeah. So when I have someone when there's a hey, let us pray with a chaplain, I don't get upset when somebody doesn't bow their head. I don't. I let the chaplain do their thing and that whatever. So to me, it's a respect issue, but I'll bring it up right now. January 6th brought up so much fucking drama between the veterans. I think it widened the gap.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, we had to. It affected our business in the way that we were communicating to our customers, and and that's a hard thing to do as a business, right? Because we're not in the realms of politics, right? We like to influence things that are affecting the veteran community,
right,
like through politics of saying, hey, here's a piece of legislation that we endorse and believe can improve the veteran community. That's the extent of what we get involved in. But it gets fucking crazy what people will just start spinning out and making up with this realities.
Like Gold Corp, right?
Gold Corp.
Like Gold Corp.
Right?
That's what for some reason we're circling right back to the Gold Corp, the influence wing of the center of the Gold Corp Center of Excellence. But yeah,
we ended up putting out an email to all of our customers, right? We didn't put this on social media or anything else, but we put out to our customers, hey, listen, we are a constitutional brand. It's in our mission statement to support, know, defend the Constitution for the next generation of Americans behind us. Right. That's what we exist for.
Exactly.
And if you're going to violate the Constitution of our government by participating in acts that you are trying to tear down the government, I can't be behind that.
Yeah.
I raise my hand.
Yeah.
Right. Foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to talk about domestic enemy, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh my God, I know that'd be a 5-hour podcast,
right? But that whole thing has just been a lingering fucking fart in an elevator since that moment happened, and now you're look at all the other things that are coming out of that. You got these. Groups running around. Nobody knows if they're feds or if they're vets or if they're whatever the hell they are. These
now it's a meme,
right? A meme, right?
Yeah, now it's a meme.
It's crazy.
It's look. I a lot of friends who's that should have happened or not should have happened, and I keep going back again to where, look, dude. I look at the Vietnam Memorial as sacred.
Yeah.
I look at the World War II Memorial, Arlington, the Marine Corps, Iwo Jima, I look at that as sacred. I look at the Capitol that way. I look at the Capitol as specifically the Capitol where the branches, where our government is operating, the inner meat, is being grinded. I look at that symbol of the Capitol as much as I look at it as a sign that says restricted area, deadly force authorized.
Yeah.
And I don't expect. Look, don't expect that you can just walk into a freaking airfield, and what just whoa, look, there's the F-22 stealth fighter. I'm gonna walk up to it and take a picture of it. Your ass will get handled.
Yeah.
Somebody will stop you before you get to that flight line, before you can take a picture of that thing, because there's a sign that says restricted area, deadly force authorized. You understand? You consent to search. Blah 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 blah.
And you're putting in another American in jeopardy of having to make a decision that you are violating. The legal
right.
Trespassing.
Right.
Now you are putting another.
You can't sit there and say you're a constitutional bro when you're fucking rioting and the Constitution's in the same fucking room with you and you're tearing the fuck up. Don't tell me that what's going on in the fucking student protests that they're tearing up the fucking schools, which they are. They're totally fucking up, and then say, but it was okay for you to do whatever you fucking did. Now look, is there heat of the moment type shit for that? What happened that day? Of course. Yeah. Fucking opportunists, people, whatever. Do I think there was something even nefariously coordinated or whatever? Haphazardly, probably. But I'm not going to sit there and say, dude, you fucking tore up the fucking place. How can I take you seriously when you've torn up the fucking place and whatever and rioted and all that?
Yeah. We have processes for that shit, man.
Right.
You have a grievance for your country, against your country, petition it. If you think that the government has gone astray, let's put a constitutional Congress together and follow the process of what the Constitution has allowed us to do.
And be loud about it. That's what the First Amendment is for you to be loud about it. You could be as loud as you fucking want.
There was a time back in 2013, right? Sequestration happened, right? One of the very first things I ever did for this company. We got into a car because Grunt Style was sponsoring honor flights to Washington, D.C. This is the 1-year anniversary of the World War II monument, right? So we were sponsoring a couple World War II gents going up there. We get word that the sequestration was going to happen and they're going to shut down all the monuments at the National Mall and barricade them. And, the response inside of our company was reactionary, but justified, right? Like, well, that's bullshit. Like, these guys, probably will never get this opportunity again to go and see a memorial that was built in their honor for the brothers and sisters that they lost during the greatest conflict of human history.
Right.
And we're going to deny them that? Absolutely not. So we got, a couple of us got in the car, we drove to Washington, D.C., got a bunch of friends together, and it ended up to be like 15,000 veterans.
Oh, wow.
Right? And this is all, you can go back on the news and, pull up YouTube videos of this.
I remember that,
right?
yeah. I didn't know there was so many, though.
It was a grip. It was a grip of people. We took those barricades from the National Monument. We walked them all the way down to the White House and threw them over the fence into the White House lawn. And that was under the presidency of Barack Obama. We were met with some resistance by law enforcement. I had rifles pointed at me. I've had a helicopter flying around with snipers trained on the everybody in there. It was a weird environment. But what we didn't do is we didn't storm the motherfucking White House.
Yeah. Right.
No, we made them know. We gave them our presence.
Yeah.
And we said, this is unacceptable.
Right.
And what happened out of that? The next day, they changed the law, changed the rule within the National Park Services, and they didn't put the barricades back up, and they said, we will keep these monuments open for any veterans that are coming to the National Mall. Point taken. Good to go. Thank you very much. And we all left.
Right. Well, see now with after what January 6th happened,
you never do that again.
You can't do that. The whataboutisms on all this stuff now has been so. It's so now. The ones that support it and the ones that are against it, of course, they're going to go back and forth. But now, anything that you do, anything to type of the government, immediately someone's going to say, "Well, hey, January 6th, right? It's an insurrection, right? It's an insurrection. There you go, January 6th. They're doing the same thing as January." The colleges, you got to follow the law, hey, because now. They overdid it to where that term insurrectionist, just like other terms, racist, Nazi, woke.
Right.
They've all lost their fucking. They have all lost.
Aren't we all recognizing? It's the ratcheting of taking away our goddamn freedoms.
Exactly.
And we're doing it to ourselves.
Exactly. And there are individuals that are thinking they're doing right by saying that. Yeah. Anything you say is you're an insurrectionist. Anything you say is an insurrection-y, or whatever. They're dooming themselves as well. Yeah. Because now, if I were to stand in front of a national park, or if I was in front, like you said, if I was in front of the Capitol and I'm wearing a Grunt Style T-shirt with a WTF Moments hat and Ghosties with me, and we're like freaking doing some shit, the next thing you know, oh my God, he's back. Gold Corp is back in their fury. Restrict his rights. Restrict this, because that's what ends up happening. You end up silencing the very thing you say you support. I'm with the Constitution. Well, am I saying that what happened on January 6th is First Amendment shit? No, it's that was fucking bullshit. That whole I'm willing to bet you that if they just left it at the fucking ellipse where they didn't fucking where nobody came up the steps, and they just left it there and rioted amongst themselves, fucking got pissed off or whatever, I think it would have been a non-issue. It had just been like a large gathering, got a little rough, got in a fight with the cops. But once they took it into the fucking Capitol, it opened up a whole new fucking. It was just like how 9/11 was. 9/11, 9/12. After 9/11 hit, it was a different America. Yeah. Now, January 7th was a different America after that.
Yeah. I mean, what did we get? What did we get out of 9/11 and going into 9/12? Right, we got the greatest abridgment of human freedom called the Patriot Act. Yeah. Right, and when I am 3 years post the 20-year war, I'm still having to get frisked to go through a goddamn airport. Yeah. Right, but nobody in the country wants to say, hey. Let's start rolling back some of these things that we put in place. we just continue to go further down the hole and continuing to do things that are taking away our own freedoms.
Right, because now they have no issue with biometrics.
Well, right. I think I think what it comes to is like now the government knows how to play the public,
right?
And so let's just have the public fight amongst themselves, right? Or the quintessential let them eat cake.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, you got the people at fucking Meta, or not Meta, but Met Gala, right, wearing a fucking $38,000 cake dress, and she's like, let them eat cake.
Yeah.
They're mocking us.
Yeah. They're not only are they mocking us, but I thought it was kind of funny. This is just me because I have my sense of humor. Is that when the protesters, the pro-Palestinian protesters, started fucking up their little party?
Yeah,
I thought it was funny. I was like, "Hey,
hilarious!
You've created your Frankenstein. Your monster's fucking tagging now. What are you gonna do about it? Because now. Oh my God! Could you just imagine what happened? This is a psyop. This is a psyop. Watch out! No, it's frustrating because I'm frustrated a lot. I say that a lot because I am frustrated a lot. It's just sad to see that we've gone now from it's okay for you to have an American tract down to the finite detail, and they are doing it. This is not a conspiracy theory. They are doing it, and then you say, yeah, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. Why? Do you hate America?
Yeah, you're a terrorist.
You're a terrorist. You're an insurrectionist. That's insurrectioning. Maybe you're part of some group. Maybe you're part of the whatever, frat bros, whatever name fucking, whatever name you want to put. Like, what are they called? The Oath Keepers, the fucking, the
Proud Boys.
The Proud Boys and all that shit. I laugh at them too. I mean, it's just like, okay.
I laugh at them because they're all feds. They think they're fooling people.
They're all fed. Everything's a fed. Just like everything's a psyop, everything's a fed. You're a fed, psyop. Yeah, you're a psyop, right? Or fed. Make up your mind. But yeah, I hate it. I hate the division. And like you said, where are the vets?
Yeah.
Where are the vets to stand up? Well, now we're January 7th. Our January 7th atmosphere has now created if you say anything about it against the government, and if you say something or you feel like you're not, immediately you're seen as a QAnon loon. Yeah. And that's a whole nother fucking realm in itself. Just by someone grabbing something that somebody else said and putting it together, and now you're QAnon. When it's literally just saying, why do I have to take my shoes off at an airport?
Right.
Why do I have? How is it that I'm able to talk with right now? As soon as we're done talking, I'm probably going to have my phone filled with algorithmic information from Grunt Style, ghosts, shit,
everything we talked about.
Everything we talked about. Guns. The next thing you know, your phone says he said insurrection. He said January 6th. Bing! It's going to go up to a system, and then this podcast is going to be scrutinized for every detail. Yeah. Well, maybe it was a signal. Maybe he was doing some sort of Illuminati thing. He said, yeah. I was like, bro. I mean, come on. Yeah. There's just some things that are not there that you think they're there. Yeah. And like you were saying, for January 6th, everybody created their own realities of what was happening in between. When literally, I think that the biggest controversy was when you comment about, well, what should have the Capitol Police done? I made some comments. I posted comments when I said that the Capitol Police should have just stacked bodies. Oh, okay. You're not supposed to go to this wall right here, and you're given warnings. This, like I said, restricted area. I mean, right. You're a tyrant. You're a bootlicker, Ken, for saying this. But that's how Ashley Babbitt got shot.
Yeah.
The thing is that Secret Service, Capitol Police, specific details to those organizations have requirements to protect the principals, the people that they're there. So the way I see it is that she was warned not stay back. No one has yet to have said, and I don't think I've seen anything read on who was that Capitol Police officer protecting.
Right.
That the rumors go that he was protecting the vice president. Rumors say that it was Nancy Pelosi. It was the speaker, so there was. We don't know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. But if he's protecting a principal, the same thing the Secret Service no matter the Secret Service takes a bullet or sends a bullet out to a threat.
Again, it goes back to that situation of like that whole thing put Americans in a position put others in a position that had to make a decision of life and death.
Right.
Like that could have been totally averted.
Yeah.
If things went another way.
Well, again, then we go to the messaging. Let's go back to the messaging stuff and comms and influencing. Say that Trump did influence these individuals to go there. Hey, look, you're your own person. I see, I've always seen political figures as that. What was that, like one movie, Judge Dredd, where there's that robot that runs around that goes, eat recycled food. It's good for the environment and okay for you. It's just like a static, atmospheric message that comes. I see politicians the same way.
Yeah.
I'm here for a better America. We're here to help you out. And I'm just, okay, whatever. Unless I hear something that's out of norm, that's what politicians say. And then, of course, the use of social media was weaponized against him. He was not allowed to say, hey, you guys need to stop. His post was deleted. His post was, and of course, I'm gonna have people fucking sharpshoot me for this, but the sequence of events is that he posted a message. You guys need to come back. You guys come back. And of course, it was like 2-3 hours while it was happening. And of course, I'm paraphrasing just remember, because the details of that are still who was involved in silencing the president at the time for a social media platform. If you're not going to silence this president or other presidents for using their use of social media, it doesn't matter what the fuck you think. The way I see it, it's like a running historical archive. Using Twitter, and that's what it was. Supposedly, well, it's not supposedly. It was a posted video of him saying, you guys need to come back. You guys need to come back, or you guys need to stop. There needs to be, you guys need to be whatever.
I know which video you're talking about. Yeah.
And he didn't, and it didn't get posted. His account got suspended.
Yeah.
So if you're giving a political figure an account to operate on social media, that thing should be wide open. Why? So that way, if he fucking does great,
public scrutiny.
If he does great, it's annotated. If he fucks up royally, we all saw it.
Yeah.
And no one can deny it. And that's what pissed me off about the whole thing was that they should just let him fucking talk. And at the time, he does have his way of talking. He'll say some shit and let him put his own foot in his mouth and instead of just looking like you're censoring him. Because then that's why social media, that's why Twitter got such a bad rap because of the way they censor people.
Yeah.
You don't censor this president for saying some of the craziest shit ever. He has said some stuff.
My uncle was eaten by
cannibals. Oh my God! I'm like,
new Papa.
Exactly. And
what?
all you,
motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, Papa, what are you talking about? And I don't like getting involved in that political talk because as veterans we can get pretty savage. On that topic.
Totally.
So if we say, my son Bo, immediately, he was a veteran. Why are you shit talking about Bo Biden? He was a veteran too. Hey, that's what he's doing all the time. He's, would be like a tick that somebody has when I say I'm always frustrated or I know or you like. He always says, Bo, or corn pop or whatever. pick your fucking tick. So I see politicians on that end as it's just a static on the outside. But yeah, I got a lot of shit for saying the Capitol Police should have fucking stacked bodies on the fucking steps because I see it. Right, just like you don't fucking go to the Vietnam Memorial and fucking tear it up. You don't go to the fucking Iwo Jima or Arlington.
You know who's some of the nicest people that were helping us during the time of the PACT Act? The state or the Capitol Police.
Right.
They were some of the kindest gentlemen and women that I've come across in Washington.
Yeah, and along that, all the bipartisan support we got from both, we got Republicans and Democrats to fucking sit down and listen. I didn't have to do shit at that point. They're like, oh, you don't need no comms messaging. You don't need it, whatever. Oh, I'll just go ahead and step back here. I guess I'm done and my work is complete. So that's another thing too, is that it's not the veteran community needs to see that it's not so singular on a specific party.
Yeah.
There's a lot of congressional senators that don't want to be out there, that don't want to say, yeah, I can appreciate it. Just kind of like, we appreciate your work. We want you to help us with this, but can you help us with this and kind of keep it low key? Because we want to introduce this into somebody. Yeah, you want to introduce something into legislation. You don't want to show your cards. You don't want people to come in and for me, the way I see it, the veteran community should always be given that opportunity to help behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And so that way there's no agitators that that cut us from cut our benefits.
Yeah,
from out
man. I'll tell you, in that experience, the years of going up to Capitol Hill, some of the best senators and representatives that are working up there, and it's a very small few, I have veteran staffers.
Yeah.
That are running their staff, and those people are generally doing great things for the veteran community, and they know who they are.
Right, exactly. Oh, and I can count them off too as well.
Yeah.
I just don't like seeing our community think it's a specific left or right issue.
Oh, absolutely.
When it's really not.
Hey, I think at the end of it, like the 117th Congress had the lowest amount of veterans in service, post World War II. The 118th Congress, to my understanding, has the largest amount of veterans participating in Congress and the Senate since World War II. So, we just need to continue that trend and
right.
Find ways of influencing our community, being out there. And doing the right thing and showing America what right looks like.
Right.
If we can show what right looks like, then we can start marching towards an objective. And then we can say, hey, America, remember when we had that aspiration to go to the moon? Mm-hmm. Let's do something big again.
Right.
What is that big thing? And that's the conversation I think all of us in America want to be having with our children and thinking about the future of prosperity that they're going to have for what we're building today.
Without Marxism.
Without Marxism, absolutely, because that shit sucks.
It's not compatible with us, anyways. We're used to, like, in the military and veterans being used to having a structure and being told what to wear, what to eat, what to think. So sort of, but the civilian populace, like I said, that's why the civilian populace they don't understand us.
Yeah.
They as much as they try to understand us, anything they do look at us though. They look up to us in some aspect, and when they see one of us fucking up bad, and then they see the infighting, then they see, oh well, then we really, why do we need that?
Yeah,
we don't need to help these guys anymore.
Exactly, and then they step over you and say thank you for your service while you're homeless.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's another 5-hour podcast about the homeless stuff.
Ken, this has been such a treat, man. I enjoyed the last. Wow, man, we're going on 2+ hours.
Really? Wow, okay.
And
appreciate it.
This has been fun.
It has been
fun, and a long time coming, and
right.
And I think we got more work to do, right?
So, we're just getting started, baby.
That's right.
We're just getting started.
That's right.
So,
any plugs you want to leave the viewers with before we get out of here?
No, I just, again, thank you for the opportunity to be able to come over here and speak to the Grunt Style family and have our families, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, kind of like hang out and collaborate on some stuff. Like I said, the Triangular Compass. I'm gonna brag about it more on my podcast. I'm gonna say, hey guys, look, because once there's some other stuff that we need to knock out. You might end up seeing me, wearing some more Grunt Style shit.
Hey,
I shouldn't say shit, but
I like it.
Wearing the gear. No, because the way I see it is that if it's a brand that's helping out veterans and you're getting another large group of veterans together or a larger platform, then again, I appreciate the opportunity. It's been great.
Absolutely. We loved having you.
Yeah, I don't know if you got, okay. Say.
We'll hear from him later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, everybody. Well, we hope you enjoyed it. Check out USA What the Fuck Moments on their social media platforms. Listen to their podcasting. They're great. They have content almost every day of the week, and new stuff continues to come out. They're a great partner. They're a great advocate within the veteran community, and they're always talking about interesting things, as you heard from Ken today. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. We'll see you again soon. And as always, be kind to one another and wash those stinking hands. See you soon.